I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delighted to introduce you to a wonderful author. Her name is Kimberly Adams. She is the creative mind behind the Enchanting 5 Mile Charlie series. This beloved series, including titles like A Special Pony for Carly and Charlie Goes to the Library, weaves magical tales of friendship, adventure, and the power of kindness, captivating young readers and their families alike. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Mainspring Books for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful books. The links are below this interview. Kimberly, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
Let's tell the folks at home a little bit about the 5 Mile Charlie series if they're not familiar with it.
Okay. Charlie is a llama. He was a pet that I had on my farm at 5 Mile. I am a lawyer by trade, but I do have a farm, and Charlie was a part of the animals at the farm that I've had for 23 years. When the pandemic started in early 2020, Charlie tragically died. And so I started writing the 5 Mile Charlie series as a part of that. And it has been so much fun writing the books, and the children love the books. And there's so much depth and so much substance to them. It's more than about a little girl wanting a pony. It's about kindness, empathy, inclusion, community, resilience, hard work. And it's just been great.
That's wonderful. And those are all great goals for children to achieve, to learn about, and to aspire to achieve. Why 5 Mile, Charlie? Where does that term or name come from?
So the farm is actually in southeast Oklahoma, and it's in a community that's called 5 Mile. And so Charlie lived there on that farm. So that's where 5 Mile Charlie, the name, was originated from.
Awesome. And if children and their parents want to get started on this series, A Special Pony for Carly is book 1?
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about that story. This is a little girl that is desperate to get a pony.
Yes, Carly had many pets, but she always wished for a pony. And there are magical bees in the valley. She would go and she would visit with the magical bees, and the queen bee Nora knew her wish and decided to help to find a pony for Carly. So she sends her best scout bee named Journey off in a search for a pony for Carly, and instead finds a llama named Charlie. And brings the llama from Farmer Bud's farm to be a pony for Carly. But even though he was a strange looking pony, they thought that Charlie would work. And indeed he did. Carly was very thankful and very gracious, and she fell in love with him instantly. And they had many adventures together. And it's a great book. And from that, we have a villain Coyote who lives in a cave, and he's nasty and he's mean and he pesters all of the other animals at the farm. And so they have to come up with a way to find, his name is Grumps, and rightfully so. They have to find a way to help Grumps because a successful community includes inclusion, and to try to find a way to include Grumps and to stop all the antagonizing. So the way that they do that is they go in book 2, they go to the library because they don't know anything about coyotes, and they study about coyotes, and from that they learn that Grumps was a sole coyote on the farm in the cave, and that he had been separated from his pack in the city and had hopped off a train, and he was very lonely and sad. So from discovering that, they go into book 3, which is the Christmas book, and they shear Charlie's wool and with the help of the magical bees, they present Grumps with the gift of warmth and friendship in a coat for Christmas. And so everything seems right in their world. Everything's great at the farm. And then in book 4, we have the return of Farmer Bud.
Mm-hmm.
And Farmer Bud he finds Charlie at 5 Mile Farm and wants Charlie returned to his farm, but Carly's not willing to give up her best friend that fast.
Mm.
So they have a trial that ensues in the barnyard with Judge Al presiding. And it's a humorous, cute, great story. Farmer Bud ends up conceding that Charlie should stay, and they all have a great time. And I'm working on book 5 now. And I also want to make sure that I mention the illustrator, David Noss.
Mm-hmm.
Without the creative, amazing work of the illustrator, these books would not be what they are. He's done an amazing creative job in bringing these characters and the stories to life. So I want to make sure that I give credit to him for that.
Absolutely. The illustrations are great. The stories are great. There's so many twists. They're very fun. They're funny. I can just see children like squealing with delight when hearing of all these different twists you have in the stories, which are great. Magic is a big part of your stories, obviously manifested with the magical bees as well. Why did you decide to include the realm of magic in these children's stories?
Well, magic is a part of childhood. And we all love the idea of magic, and the thing that magic brings to a story.
Exactly. And it's
so,
also part of a child's imagination, which is
yeah,
wonderful, is that they believe in magic. They believe in magical bees. They believe in all of the fairies and all the wonderful things that we as adults have beaten out of us by teachers and all that stuff by the time we are out of school. But believing in magic is a great thing every time of year, particularly this time of year. And you and Greg Owen are going to work some magic this year because you've got a whole bunch of toys back there. It looks like you're going to play Santa or be one of his helpers. Tell us a little bit about the toy drive you're working on.
and the toy drive is the J. Michael Miller. And J. Michael Miller is a colleague that I practice law with, and with his son, Reed Markham. They initiated the toy drive in 2016. Every year, the toy drive gets bigger. It is, we have 185, I believe, volunteers that work on this project. And Greg is here with me. He is the Pittsburgh County 4-H educator that can tell more about the toy drive and what that entails.
Well, let's say hello to Greg Owen. He is one of the people who are driving this toy drive, being one of Santa's helpers this holiday season. Greg, tell us a little bit about the toy drive and your work.
So it's really the work of, as Kimberly said, J. Michael Miller and his stepson Reed Markham. Reed is one of my 4-H students. When he was 11 years old, he came up with the idea to try to put another tree or another toy under the tree for kids. And in its first year, I believe they were able to give away about 1,000 toys. It was a walk-up event that they did at the law office. And I heard Kimberly talking about COVID. When COVID hit, they decided for safety reasons they needed to make it a drive-through event. So they did that, and it has grown by leaps and bounds. This last year alone, if I'm not mistaken, they gave somewhere in the neighborhood of about 17,000 items away at this giveaway. It was probably 16 blocks or more long of vehicles, so much so that we've had to change locations, and we're now moving it out west of town to try to accommodate a larger crowd.
Wonderful. That's got to feel great knowing that you're bringing such joy to children. And I presume these are children in need who get the toys?
So there is no financial stipulations to this. Any child is welcome. The rule is they need to be present. And last I knew, they have kids coming from as far away as Arkansas,
Wow.
and I think that's even growing further. And so yeah, Reed just wants to give toys to kids at Christmas, and he knows how important that is for the young child. They even go up to high school age students with the items that they're given. That one of the things I always brag on, and Kimberly's a part of that, is how giving this community is. People in the community have given. They've given money. They've given items. They've given their time. Kimberly mentioned. Excuse me, 185 volunteers. That's in one day's time for an activity like this. And it doesn't happen without the community, but it's all led by Reed Markham, my 4-H'er, and I'm super proud of him. You were talking about how the joy it gives you. I'm one of the ones that gets to be there when the items go in the car, and to see the smiles on the faces. It's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. I always say Christmas is no fun anymore unless you have a kid to give a toy to. And there you go. You guys have found lots and lots and lots of kids to give toys to. Remarkable work on this toy drive, that is for sure. And Kimberly Adams has done a wonderful job with her wonderful children's series, 5 Mile Charlie. Terrific books. You'll want them all. It's the holiday season. You might even find some in that toy pile. I don't know. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.